The story surgeon is back. I write with a scalpel because my penmanship is surgical. I was originally going to make a video talking about the main problem with stories in the Isekai subgenre, but then a chain of events led to me making a discovery. I was thinking about how most Isekai are like SAO clones, but there was one thing that the others had that SAO was missing, and that was a magical school. That's when an anime I've been meaning to rewatch popped into my head, Zero no Tsukaima. So here's my theory. Every modern Isekai is Zero no Tsukaima plus SAO plus people who think they can write plus L plus ratio, and that's just part of the problem. Side note, I don't think Zero or SAO are bad. They were both legitimately good stories at some point during their run. Let's get the tropes. Zero no Tsukaima's novel started in 04 and the anime in 06. Zero has a male protagonist being transported to a fantasy world. The MC has a harem with multiple archetypes, the main love interest being a tsundere. He is also in a magical school, and there's a lot of erotic fan service. SAO was self-published in 02, officially in 09, and the anime came out in 12. This also has an MC being transported into a fantasy world. This time, it's like Dungeons & Dragons, and also in a video game. The MC is an overpowered self-insert who has a harem with multiple female archetypes, the main love interest being a tsundere. It also has erotic fan service. When you combine the two, you get your basic modern Isekai. I feel like most Isekai today are a result of passing down tropes like it's an STD. It's as if someone started by taking the overpowered self-insert from SAO, mixing it with a magical school from Zero, and merging all of the other tropes from before. Then someone else saw that become successful and did the same thing but added a little of their own flair. Then the cycle just repeated and the subgenre began to dump out mediocrity on a yearly basis. Tropes aren't a bad thing, but when stories heavily rely on tropes, especially tropes from a genre that produces less quality content than that one friend who thinks he can rap, it becomes a problem. It results in a lack of creativity, originality, and quality. Or maybe it's just that garbage writers are attracted to this oversaturated subgenre. Or maybe these tropes and writing style don't appeal to me because I'm not an overweight, maidenless Reddit mod in his parents' basement, but I digress. Just look at Mao's most popular Isekai: No Game No Life, ReZero, Konosuba, Overlord, Shield Hero, Slime, Jobless, Demon Lord, Ari Fureta, Cautious Hero, etc. They all check a lot of these boxes. I haven't even watched most of these shows because I'm not trying to waste my time watching garbage or pure mediocrity. But just from the clips I've seen from them, I know they're checking boxes like their life depends on it. I make satirical rip-off videos for battle manga, but if I did that for modern isekais, assuming I hated myself enough to watch them and give myself VTDs, visually transmitted diseases, the video lengths would triple. And then there are anime and light novels that aren't even isekai, but still check a lot of these boxes, like Irregular, Rakudai, Asterisk War, or Akashic Record. Talk about creatively bankrupt. Their titles are fucking cancer too. A title isn't supposed to be an elevator pitch. When I see a summary as a title, ripe with nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, and prepositions, I have a seizure. It's crazy because Zero no Tsukaima and Sword Art Online, you know, the root of all this vile waste, aren't like this. They don't even have a sentence for a title. It's just an adjective and a noun. A sentence needs a noun and a verb. For example, Isekai sucks. Even good Isekai, like Seirei Gensoki, are full of these tropes. It's an Isekai, it has a fantasy world, the MC is OP, he went to a magic school, and he has a harem. The protagonist even looks like Kirito. But this is one of those rare examples where the story pulls a black clover. And by that, I mean they use so many well-known tropes that they look like a blatant ripoff, but the writing manages to pull through despite that. Zero is also great. I started rewatching Tsukaima, partially for this video, partially so that I can finish it, and I can already tell that it'll leave me with post-anime depression when I'm done. The best way I can describe the difference between these stories and others is that they feel authentic. They don't feel like they're trying to continue a running joke. It feels like they're doing their own thing. For the sake of argument, let me try and list the tropes commonly found in battle manga. An optimistic hero, a lancer to the hero, a power system, martial arts/weapon combat, secret power for the hero, and a big dream. A lot of these tropes aren't even unique to anime, even when you combine them all. You know what else has an optimistic hero with a hidden power, a lancer, a power system, and weapon combat? The Star Wars original trilogy. That came out in the late 70s. You know what else has a hero with a hidden power, a lancer, and a power system? Harry Potter. That came out in late 90s. For reference, battle manga tropes only really started to explode after Hunter x Hunter in 98. Big dreams seems to be the only thing unique to battle manga. That's my first counter. My second is that some of these tropes actually serve to enhance the subgenre's point. Battle is the subgenre of action. The power systems, physical combat, and secret power all enhance the action. The same can't be said about Isekai. Isekai is a subgenre of fantasy. In this particular case, it's traveling to a fantasy world. The fantasy D&D world and magic schools are the only ones that actually help with that. An OP self-insert, a harem filled with the same ran-through archetypes, and fan service do nothing to help with the fantasy aspect. They're just there cause SAO and Zero did it first, because it appeals to the sweaty losers that were like Rudy before he died. One subgenre appeals to the ambitious, the other appeals to Coomers. That's crazy, but that's none of my business. You probably forgot, but Inuyasha is an isekai that predates all of these light novels, yet it doesn't look or feel anything like the others because this was pre-modern isekai, where everything isn't Zero plus SAO. My theory could be right or wrong. I'll be honest, I did surface level research for this video because I'm not a masochist willing to drag myself through tons of isekai anime. I wouldn't watch garbage even if I could stop time, because while I may not be losing time, I'd be losing brain cells and happiness. In conclusion, isekai stories are often garbage because they use tropes as a crutch rather than a tool. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and help me revolutionize the manga industry by buying my manga and spreading the word. All important links will be in the description.